the transfer window is set to slam shut in just a few days' time, and that means that, of course, there are plenty of clubs who are just a little desperate to get a little bit more business done whilst they still permissibly can. After all, we know for a fact that the seasons have begun, yet if there's one thing that football teaches you is that there's never a bad time to strengthen your squads, and quite clearly there's a lot of clubs who feel exactly the same way. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sports Today. Today we're going to look at some of the more interesting transfer rumours that are currently doing the rounds. Now obviously we know how it is with football transfer rumours. There's a lot of purely false information that flies around out there in the name of news, but worry not, in this case we are looking at only trusted and credible sources so that you guys don't actually have to sift through everything to figure out what's real and what's not. We've already done that for you. That being said, let's get straight to the rumors, and we're starting with a man who, well, we've mentioned a lot in this series of videos, that we've been doing it this summer. Antony of Ajax. Now again, you remember that Manchester United were interested in him first, then withdrew their interest, and then lost 2 games on the trot and decided, okay, we want to sign him again. Well, as it turns out, talks for that move are going somewhat well, because Antony has handed in a transfer request to Ajax, and he's also told his representatives to stay in England to get a deal done. Of course, the Ajax are still not budging in terms of what it is that they're expecting in terms of a transfer fee. They're expecting a lot of money. United are supposedly willing to meet that demand, but as of now, talks are still ongoing. Antony, however, is pretty keen to join his old manager, Erik ten Hag, at Manchester, and one of the players that Ajax are reportedly targeting to replace Antony is an old Ajax boy in the form of Hakim Ziyech. Now you remember Ziyech left Ajax in the 2020-21 season, in the 2020 summer transfer window to be more specific. He left them that year, but in the past 2 years, despite the fact that he's won a few trophies at Chelsea, he hasn't really established himself as a must starting player in that particular playing 11, and there have been rumblings that he's been interested in seeking out a move in the search of more game time. Could that come with a return to Ajax? Well, it would certainly be a very good move for him. Remember, he's thrived in the Dutch league in the past, and Ajax are of course playing Champions League football, so it wouldn't be the worst move in the world for the Moroccan winger. The rumors, however, state that Chelsea are asking for a little more money than what Ajax are willing to pay. Whether or not this gets resolved, that's something only time will tell. But one thing is clear is that interest between both parties is in fact concrete. Now, speaking of players that Chelsea, speaking of transfers in Chelsea to be more specific, another player they're targeting is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Again, this is something that we have spoken about in past videos. Now, however, the interest is more than just a passing interest, it's very concrete. Personal terms aren't expected to be an issue, but they are ironing out the finer details of what would be expected from them in terms of course, a transfer fee. Because remember, Barcelona are asking for around 30 million euros, which, considering the fact that they signed Aubameyang just 6 months ago on a free, would represent brilliant business. But Chelsea apparently are more interested in including a player, maybe someone like Marcos Alonso, who is keen to join Barcelona and also wants out of Chelsea. Whether or not this deal progresses will of course depend on what terms are thrashed out by the two clubs, but what we do know for sure is that interest is very, very real at this point in time. Barcelona, by the way, will feature a lot in this video, as you will see, because, well, there's apparently a new suitor for one Frankie de Jong. You'd remember that de Jong has been long targeted by Manchester United, even though he clearly had no interest in joining them. Chelsea have also emerged as potential suitors, and it is thought that de Jong would be more open joining London. That being said, there's now a new suitor in place in the form of Liverpool. Again, remember, Liverpool recently ended up losing their match against Manchester United, and there was a lot of talk about whether or not they needed reinforcements in midfield. Apparently, the club believe that they do in fact need those reinforcements in midfield, which is why they're sending out feelers and looking to see if de Jong is interested to reject the Manchester United red and turn out for the Liverpool red instead. Whether or not that happens is something time will tell, because again, remember, one of the reasons de Jong doesn't want to leave is because he's owed something around 17 million euros in terms of wages from Barcelona, and he wants those before he would even consider making a move. How things get resolved? Well, there's only a few more days left till deadline day, so stay tuned for this particular story. And another player that Barca are very, very keen to be rid of is Memphis Depay. Now again, you remember Depay arrived at the club under Ronald Koeman's managerial time, and he hasn't really featured all that much under Xavi. Xavi is okay letting him go, and there were reports that he would be signing with Juventus. However, that Juventus move seems a bit iffy as of now, because he wants that his contract be terminated so that he can leave on a free, but however that hasn't quite happened yet, and Juventus themselves are said to be having second thoughts over the move. What exactly happens in Depay's case is a bit of an unknown, because again, he's a very talented player, but if he's not going to be getting a chance to play in Barcelona, it would probably be in Barca's best interest to terminate the contract, get him off the wage bill, and then actually make space for players who would be wanted. But again, we're going to see how exactly this thing pans out. I reckon closer to the deadline closing than it will be as of now. And moving on from Barcelona players, but sticking to, of course, La Liga, you have this man, Real Sociedad's forward Alexander Isak, who is set to join Newcastle United for what would be a record signing for the Magpies. Now again, for the Toon, I'm so sorry. Now again, you would remember that Newcastle United have been, they're under new ownership. They do have money to spend, and they still haven't really spent anywhere near that much that they would be falling afoul of financial fair play regulations, which is why they're looking to target Isak. A move is believed to be in advanced stages. He's keen to join. How this exactly turns out in terms of transforming in Newcastle would remain to be seen. But what is known for sure is that Isak is one of the more highly rated forwards coming through La Liga right now, and he would definitely make a very exciting addition to a Newcastle side that is quite clearly upwardly mobile. And sticking with Newcastle, this man, Martin Dubrovka, who until quite recently was Newcastle's #1 goalkeeper, is now being linked with a move to Manchester United. Why exactly? Well, because Newcastle United have 4 senior keepers on their books right now, and they feel that they've probably 1 or even 2 goalkeepers too many, considering, well, goalkeepers is not really a position that has a lot of rotation. So they are looking to actually, offload one of those players, and Dubravka has emerged as a person of interest for Manchester United, who themselves feel that they're one keeper short right now, having loaned out Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest. Whether or not Dubravka is okay trading the bench for Newcastle United for the bench and Manchester United, however, remains to be seen. But what we can say for certainty is that there is plenty of interest, and United are confident that they can get a deal done. Moving on to this man, Lucas Paqueta. Again, this is someone who's very well known to football fans. He has, of course, been lighting up Ligue 1, and he's been doing very well with Olympique Lyon. He is now the subject of transfer speculation, and in fact, one of the clubs that were linked to him in the past was Arsenal, but the club that he seems to be closer to joining now is another London club in the form of West Ham. West Ham are very interested in securing the services of the Brazilian attacker, who again is a very exciting player to watch, but the first bid by the Hammers has been turned down by Olympique Lyon, so they probably have to go back with improved terms to convince the French club to sell what is clearly one of their biggest assets. Whether or not it happens, it remains to be seen, but the simple fact is West Ham have gone public with their interest, with even manager David Moyes admitting that he's a fan of the player. So it does seem likely that West Ham will do whatever it takes to get this particular deal over the line. Now, sticking with London clubs, Callum Hudson-Odoi, who most of you would know as a Chelsea player, is reportedly close to sealing a loan move away from the club. Hudson-Odoi, you'd remember, hasn't quite been able to break into the Chelsea 11, despite the fact that he comes with a very big reputation from his time at the youth academy. Remember, he is also an under-17 World Cup winner with England, but he struggled for consistency and has struggled to actually solidify himself in the playing 11, and that's one reason why he's looking for a loan move away to get some game time. Bayer Leverkusen are his preferred destination, and of course we've seen English attackers go to Germany and excel. Let's hope if Hudson-Odoi gets that chance that he is able to do something similar. And well, a little early, but anyway, speaking of players who have played in London, there's this man, Serge Aurier, who funnily enough has emerged emerged as a transfer target for Nottingham Forest. Yes, that Nottingham Forest who got promoted just this year and have already spent quite a lot of money are also looking to add Aurier, who became a free agent recently. They're looking to add him to their lineup as well. Again, it's an interesting signing to say the least, because what I remember of Odoi from his time at Spurs, he wasn't exactly the most reliable of players, although his attacking intent from right back was very, very good. Who knows, maybe Nottingham might actually end up getting a bit of a steal when it comes to the signing of the Ivory Coast international. And that is it for this edition of The Rumours. Again, thank you all so much if you're joining us, and if you're joining us and enjoy what it is that we do, please don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, drop us a comment as to what transfer you want to see completed before deadline day, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you know when we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We're on all platforms. Last but not least, don't forget to download the AajTak app for breaking news updates from the world of sport as and when it happens. As always, I've been Shane Dice. Thank you so much for joining us.